for New York. It'll choke off Lower Manhattan, and it's bad policy. Try them down and get them up. But that doesn't stop the Justice Department from trying. So I mean, I don't want to be the one defending the Justice Department because I have some real issues with what they're doing, as you do. Say, Michael, thank you. I'm going to keep moving through these calls. Let us go to Jean. I guess is in Bethlehem as well.
Hello. First of all, I have a comment to make. I want to thank you for all the communication from your office. I'm one of these people that calls my congressman all the time. And whenever I've called your office with a comment or a question, I get something in the mail from you or, I always get a response. So I appreciate that greatly.
We try. I mean, we get with email now.
You do a good job.
Well, I'm glad you could. Thank you. And by the way, we encourage you to contact us if you have issues that you're concerned about. That's part of what being a representative is, hearing you.
Yeah, I was raised that way to do something. My question came up from this conversation. Are the sanctuary cities being used as a place for illegal workers to live? And if that's so, how come the employers of the illegal workers are not being fined?
Yeah, and good question. To enforce the border effectively, we have to enforce the border. That is, make sure that we prevent unlawful entrance. And two, we have to enforce the work site. And we have a program called E-Verify, which is a voluntary program where employers can basically check the status of an individual. But usually you have to check it once you hire the individual. And that's another little pet peeve I have, because sometimes you have to hire the person before you can try to verify that their Social Security number is authentic, and there's not a mismatch, and so you have to hire them first. That's a problem we've got to work out. That said, the way you deal with this, I think what we're going to have to do is develop a tamper-proof biometric ID for all visitors who enter the United States. That is, so if they're coming in here with a visa, and we have around 70 different visa categories. There's certain types of work visas, foreign visas, religious visas, student visas, visitor visas. It seems like a never-ending list. But you basically, when a person comes in on that visa, they should be issued a tamper-proof biometric ID from the embassy or the consulate, the American consulate or embassy in the country where they're coming from, whether it's in Ecuador or wherever. And that way, so that person shows that visa at a work site, the employer will know that that individual is who he says he is. Because that is the problem now. People show up with driver's licenses and Social Security numbers that are fraudulent or fake. They look authentic. And then they use those documents as a basis of identification. They hire them, and they may discover later that they're not here lawfully. And so that's what we have to do now. If there are people out there who hire people unlawfully, knowingly, then we have to crack down on them criminally. That's what we've got to do. And finally, the American people, I think, expect better than what they got in 1986. That was the last big immigration reform. It's called Simpson-Mazzoli. That was the law. Ronald Reagan was president, Democratic Congress, Republican president, Democrat Congress. They made big promises to the American people. They were going to enforce the border, secure the border, enforce the work site, and then grant amnesty to 3 million people. They granted the amnesty to 3 million people, said it would never happen again, and then here we are, 25 years later, nearly 25 years later, and now there are people out there, not me, but there are people out there talking about amnesty for 12 million people. That's unacceptable. So hey, well, thank you, and trying to keep whip through all these calls here. Let's go to James. James is down in Pottstown, in one of the Potts Groves. How you doing, James?
Hi. All right. How you doing, Congressman? First, a statement. Thank you for these calls. Very informative and very good. My question has to do with the MS4 legislation being passed down from DEP and through, I guess, coming from the EPA, requiring municipalities to monitor stormwater drainage and really it being an unfunded mandate that in a lot of cases may bankrupt some municipalities with all the costs that's involved in monitoring it and enforcing it.
James, it's funny you called on that issue today.